Hello, this is Franco Cabral broadcasting from the Honest Liar Podcast, a conversation around finding the inner liar within all of us and leveraging the truth to create expansion across all areas of your life. Today's topic is winning the war. It's September 27 when I'm recording this, and I just got back from being at a quarterly Mastermind Empire event that I've gone every quarter throughout the course of this year. However, this event was not one that I was looking forward to going to, even though I've had an amazing time every single time, gotten so much power from these events, clarity. They've been massive for the growth and expansion that I've created in my life and in my business and all aspects, all areas of expansion. However, I was finding myself in a place last week where I didn't want to go. I almost decided, to cancel it last minute. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't communicate what I was feeling, but I was feeling a sense of guilt. I have spent a lot of time working on myself, space for myself, and I was feeling guilt from my business and taking away space from tactically being involved in my business for a few days, guilt from being away from my family for a few days. And I was having a difficult time with keeping my commitment to myself that I'm going to go to all of these quarterly events because I made an investment in myself, and that has paid off tremendously. But I was losing sight of that investment before this event, and I wanted to cancel it. So while I was there, as always, I got massive revelations and so many things that I'm going to share with you guys over this next quarter, lessons learned, experiences. But one of the biggest lessons learned was this frame that was explained to me by one of my mentors, Garrett J. White, was this concept of the king, lord, soldier, and servant that lives within us at all times. We all have a king, a lord, a soldier, and a servant within us. The king is the one that does the strategy and the vision for us. And we all need to create expansion in our life. We have to figure out which role we should be at any given time. And the better in tune we are with creating the space at different points of our life for each of these roles to play, the more we're going to win the war. So the king is the one that creates the vision. But we're not able to create the vision as to how we're going to win the war of our life without creating the space to actually do so. And that was one of the biggest gifts that I got over the past few days, was creating this space. The Lord is the manager, if you will, of this vision that the king creates. We all have a soldier within us, and the soldier's function is basically to shoot shit, to kill the targets that we set or the mission that we set to accomplish. That's the direction that came from the Lord with the vision from the king. And then the servant is the one that's basically doing the grunt work, the things that are necessary to get done, not necessarily the things that we want to do, but the things that have to get done to carry out the orders of the king all the way down. So here I was in this space a week ago where I didn't want to create this space. And obviously I wasn't thinking about it from this frame when I was considering not going. I was thinking of guilt or fear or scarcity. It was a different mindset that I'm in now after going to the event and getting this massive reminder, along with many other revelations that I got over the last 2 days, of why it was so crucial for me to be there, and more importantly, why it was that the things that I've accomplished this year have happened. All of the many accomplishments that I'm so grateful for that I've been able to accomplish over this year only happened because I created space to do king shit. And to create the space to do that, I need to be able to remove myself from the daily tactical battle that is my life. And the king needs space to think, or queen, if you're a woman listening to this, is the concept that, I relearned this past week. Now, the 2 days that I invested in doing king shit and reflecting back on what worked well for me this past quarter, number one, that provides a recharge, the refuel. And I realized that each of these events that I've been to, every time I come out, I have this renewed energy, this fire to create. A lot of that comes from the reflection of what I did well this past quarter. What targets did I hit? What did I accomplish that I wanted to do? How have I improved my human life value, as well as the profits, the production, but also just me as a person? How have I grown? Creating this space to do king shit, quote unquote, it was shared with me this past week, is really the only space where I actually think and I show myself gratitude for the things that I've done and accomplished. And, I think and I let myself really own that moment. So that's just as important as also identifying all of the areas of opportunity that I have to take advantage of going into this next quarter. And then I get to create a strategy as to how I'm going to implement that and what it is that I'm going to do to level up my life over this next quarter. So over the last 2-3 days, basically, I've been analyzing what went well, and I had a reflection process that I've been taught how to do, and I've taught others how to do, and I coach people on how to do, which allows me to recognize all of the gratitude for the things that have been accomplished and really let that sink into my heart, because that's where the refuel comes from. And then a filtering process that gives me immense clarity as to what I actually want to accomplish in my heart. Once I create this vision, then it's the Lord within me to carry out the mission at hand that came from the direction of the King within me. Daily, my soldier and servant have missions that I give based on this process. And the King creates this strategy on a quarterly basis. I meet with my King and Lord on a weekly basis in doing what's called my general's tent. And basically, that's my weekly plan as to how I'm going to win and execute the quarterly mission that I've been created in my life from this quarterly event. Then the soldier and the servant execute on a daily basis. An interesting concept of what happens when you don't do this that also was brought to my attention over the last few days, and I have lived the pain of this, is that when the King does not have vision, the Lord isn't able to give directions to the soldier or servant within me. Now, the big problem with that is that the soldier within me only knows how to do one thing, and the soldier only knows how to shoot shit. So when the soldier doesn't have a clear vision and target that's intentional, that's actually going to create the expansion I want in my life, the soldier still is going to shoot shit. But the soldier tries to kill the King, the Lord, and basically is the product of burning shit down in my life and using that energy, the soldier energy, to burn things down to the ground versus to build things up by creating. So the King shit that I do actually creates all of the expansion because it provides the vision to the rest of me that then I can execute. But if I have no vision, my life starts to burn. And that's the same thing in my personal life as in my business. I have kings. I'm a king. My business partner is a king. We have lords. We have soldiers. We have servants. And we also act as those roles within our business at times also. But none of our lords, soldiers, or servants, whether they're us or employees within the business, are going to be able to accomplish the targets that we want them to if we can't provide clear vision for them. But I also can't provide clear vision if I have no clear vision within myself. So I was discounting how important the last 2 days were, but the reality is all of the expansion that I've been able to create has been produced by the King having a clear vision. And when I had no vision, that's when I was burning shit down to the ground in my life. Also, the idea is that the King doesn't show up just quarterly. The King is the one, or Queen is the one that shows up daily in the mornings. And that was a big distinction for me that I learned as well over the last few days, or the new frame, is that my King is the one within me, is the one that shows up for the morning routine that I do every day. My morning routine creates space. between meditating, between stacking, journaling, workouts, it creates clarity so that I can then execute orders to the Lord, soldier, and servant within me throughout the course of the day. But if I choose not to start my day in power by creating that space, then that particular day, the king doesn't show up. Therefore, nobody has direction. And those are the days that I have chaos. So this frame also re-solidified for me the importance of my morning routine and why it's so important that I get it done in power early in the day so that the rest of me has clear vision for the rest of the day to execute on the orders. Now, do I do this perfectly every day? Absolutely not. Sometimes I don't show up as the king, and I recognize that I pay the price for it. However, when I'm aware of it, then I have the capability of letting that be one bad day versus 2, 3, a week, a month, a quarter. So if the king shows up to provide the vision, then I actually have the opportunity to accomplish the missions and win the war in the long run. So that's the message I want to leave you with today. The lesson or the applicable part of this is I want you to find time over the next week to create. You're going into this next quarter, and a lot of things can happen, massive expansion in your life in one quarter. Don't get caught by the trap that if you haven't accomplished your targets for the year, it's so natural to say, oh, well, the new year's coming, new year, new me, that bullshit resolution crap, because you can accomplish a lot of things. You can accomplish what you want to accomplish in a year in 90 days if you push yourself to get to that place. I have coaching teams that I coach within my business, and I've done this for myself, and there are massive accomplishments that are happening and results showing up in 90 days. But first step is creating a vision for what you want to accomplish in your body, your being, your balance, and your business over the next 90 days. You have to create the space to do that, though. Otherwise, nothing will get accomplished, or not as much as you want will get accomplished. So find a block of time, at least 2 hours over the next week, where you can create the space to think about how you're showing up today in your body and where do you want to go in the next 90 days. And apply that same concept of where you are today, where do you want to be in the next 90 days within your being, balance, and business as well. If you'd like some coaching or guidance throughout this process, feel free to email me at franco.cabral@icloud.com and we can set up a consulting call. Also, as always, if you find value in this conversation, please share it with your loved one or somebody else that you think would gain value. And take the time to rate and review the show, as that makes a big difference in how much this message will get out there and share light to those that need the light. So thank you very much for tuning in to the Honest Liar podcast, a conversation around finding the inner liar within all of us and leveraging the truth to create expansion across all areas of your life.